Hello, hello, Pete Moriarty here. Welcome to yet another live on our channel. Great to be here with you. We are doing an open Q&A, which means you can ask me anything you want. I will mostly be answering Google Workspace related questions, but hey, go surprise me if you want. We are itGenius. If you're new around here, we help small business owners systemize, organize, and scale their business, not just with Google Workspace, but with many other tech tools as well. And we're all about helping small business owners get the most out of their investment in technology. Now, we know for many people, you probably got staff, you've probably got some contractors in there too. But if you've got less than 50 employees, you probably don't have a full-time IT person. Maybe you've just kind of like delegated that to an operations manager. Maybe that's the hat that you're wearing or you have to wear. Maybe you're the person who's got stuck with it. Maybe you're not a business owner, but you're like the IT person responsible. In the small business land, we just get done, with the resources that we have, and many people get stuck trying to work stuff out. Now, Google Workspace is a great application, and there's a lovely ecosystem of other tools that go around it as well. But you've got to learn how to use it. If someone gives you the keys to their Ferrari, you don't know necessarily how to drive it really fast around a racetrack, right? You gotta learn the ropes. So that's what this channel is all about. And from time to time, I answer your questions, which you can submit. You're welcome to submit them live as well if you like, and they come in my little question thing here. If you want to drop a question in, it's super easy. You just go to ask.itgenius.com, and it looks like I think my team are going to drop that in as well. Ask.itgenius.com. Although it looks like my stream may have frozen here. I'm just going to double check and refresh my page. Double check my stream's still working okay. Fingers crossed it's all good. But ask.itgenius.com. There we go. Yep, I think it's working. I've just got a little bit of a bug in the interface. And that'll get you access to the Q&A. You can submit those. I don't know why my team haven't put it in there yet. I think hopefully they're listening. Team, if you could drop in that link, that would be great. Okay. Now, if you want to ask me a question live, we now have a Google Meet that you can join. So I can see there's lots of people watching us live. We've set up a Google Meet and we're letting real humans ask real questions. I've got a Google Meet sitting here. Let's just double check that do I have a button for the Meet? There we go. Button for the Meet there. So I've got a Google Meet here, and these are my producers. They're not audience yet. But if you want to join me in this Meet, then this could be you right here. Let me point in the right spot. That could be you right there. So just click onto the Meet link. It's in the comments, and then we can workshop some stuff live. I don't know how this is going to go. This is a kind of new experiment. We did one a week or two ago, and that worked pretty well. Hopefully, I've got all my audio settings right. But anyway, if you want to ask me a live question, put your makeup on, jump on the Meet link. You're going to a waiting room, and my team will invite you to join. But in the meantime, I'm going to answer as many questions as I can from ask.itgenius.com. And this is the place where you can just pop in any question that you like, and the popular ones get voted up to the top. And I try as much as possible to get through all of these for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. The first question is from Anonymous. I need a user to log in to take phone calls that are forwarded to her phone. I keep trying to set it up, but the user account will not allow it. Why is this? I'm guessing I'll have to reactivate the user's free license setting, and they will charge me. Can I share one phone line? Okay, so this is interesting. I'm assuming this is a Google Voice related question. And I haven't actually used Google Voice in production personally myself, because we've got an Australian account. It's not rolled out to Australia, so we're stuck not having Google Voice. I'm assuming, and I don't have the data on this, but I'm assuming that to use Google Voice, you will need to have an active account on Google Workspace. I don't know if it's possible to have a Google Voice license without a mailbox for Drive, Docs, and everything else. Although it's probably worth a quick Google, isn't it? So let's have a quick look here. I wonder if my dictation's working. Can I assign Google Voice to a user without using a Google Workspace license? All right, let's see what happens here with my little Google. Hey, and my dictation works even with my microphone on. That's cool. If you're wondering what app I'm using, I use an app called Better Dictation. And yeah, I really love this one. Okay, before you assign people, they need a license to Google Voice. Let's go and have a look here and see what I can find. Assign Google Voice, assign licenses. Interesting. Okay, well, considering this is using the license assign, I would say it may be possible to use a Google Voice license for a user without consuming a normal Google Workspace license. So a normal Google Workspace license would be, Mail, Docs, Drive, and those kind of things. Now, you might be wondering, well, Pete, what are these license assignments and how they work? Well, let me show you how license assignments work in Google Workspace. So we're going to go to our admin panel, and we're going to go and find in our menu, I think it's the accounts menu. Yes, it is under account. No, it's under billing. Sorry about that. We're going to go to billing, and then we're going to go to subscriptions. And then here you can see all the different subscriptions that I have available for my Workspace account. Now, Android Enterprise is included in our plan, so we get as many as we want. Chrome Enterprise Core, that's like the basic Chrome management license. Chrome Upgrade means that I have designated a certain number of devices in my business to have a device management license for Chrome. And so that means I can add device policies to Chromebooks. I can manage the hardware. Cloud Identity Free, what's that? Well, that's basically a shell of a user account without Mail, without Google Voice, without Drive, and without many other features. But it does give you the ability to log in to a Google account and not much else. Now, what is Cloud Identity used for? Well, if you want to set up a super administrator account that's not you, it's not the owner of the business, that's a good idea for security. You could use a Cloud Identity free account to do that. If you've got a single sign-on application, like a third-party tool or a third-party enterprise app, and you want to maybe use that app without having to pay for a license for Google Workspace, but you want to use your Google login to manage and dictate the logins, well, you can use Cloud Identity free for that. You can see out of the box, I think they give you 300 odd licenses, 250 or 300 licenses for free. Gemini, we've assigned 5 of those licenses to people. Google Workspace, that's our normal Google Workspace account. 80 of those are assigned. And then Jamboard, sadly, RIP, Jamboard's been killed. We've got 1 license that's not yet expired for that. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the different licenses. Now, if you have Google Voice, you'll just have a Google Voice subscription here. And then if you want to assign or unassign a license to a user, well, you go to the person's user account. So we go to our user accounts here. I'm going to open up ISA. And ISA is usually the person that I use for demos. Sucks to be ISA. Sometimes I accidentally turn things on and off for her. And here we're going to go to the licenses menu. And you can see here if I've got licenses available to issue, I can hit the edit button here and I can switch on or switch off different licenses. Now, some of these you can see they've been assigned to everyone. Gemini, if I had a license available, I could assign a license there. Effectively, this is what you would do with Google Voice. Now, let's come back to answer this person's question. They're saying that I need to forwarded calls to someone, and it appears that person has been deactivated in some way. I'm assuming that is someone who's maybe been suspended, maybe they've left the business, and this person's trying to redirect their phone number to someone else. Can I share one phone line? That I don't know for sure, but if you are able to add multiple Google lines to a single person, it might be a matter of changing that phone number and reassigning it to a different user. If you're trying to forward someone's phone line and that person has their phone number attached to their account, okay, you're probably going to have their account active for that to work. But you don't necessarily have to have a Google Voice license and a Google Workspace license for every user in the business. It appears, based on what we've just found, that you can assign Google Workspace licenses you can assign a Google Voice license without a Google Workspace license attached. All right, cool. That's a pretty good question. Nice challenging one to start off with. and I want to welcome anyone who is on the call who wants to join us live. All you need to do is jump right into the live meeting link. We've put in a link here, and that link means that you can actually join me on the live and ask me a live question if you would like to. We've got lots of people right now on the joining us on the live. So, yep, jump in. There's an open meet there. Make sure your makeup's on. Make sure you got, well, you don't have to have pants on, but ideally have pants on. Yeah, join us on the live, and I'll answer live questions for you if you want to join in. Okay, let's go on to our next ones. Okay, cool. Elvin said, thanks for taking my call just now. Okay, I'm assuming this is the person that we chatted with last week. I was just watching how to switch from Outlook to Google Workspace. I've done quite a few migrations, but I have this question. Do you have a cloud backup recommendation for Google Workspace? Yes, we do. Our recommendation for Google Workspace is either Backupify or Spanning. Both of those products are decent products. The easiest way to buy them these days is through a reseller. So you can purchase them through us, and we give you a really great price because we buy them in bulk. We even throw in a few licenses for some of our concierge plans. So that would make sense for you if you're at all interested in our concierge plan and want to get your Google account backed up. Is there a difference between the two, Backupify and Spanning? Doesn't really matter. They're pretty much of a muchness. They have been for many years, feature for feature. And they're both ultimately owned by one company now, which is interesting. So yeah, expect that they're going to remain separate brands, but pretty much stay probably feature for feature parity-wise. Now, I mentioned Concierge. Concierge is our all-you-can-eat small business technology support service. And so it is a very, very useful concierge service for anyone who's using Google Workspace, wants to get more out of the platform, and we support all of these apps and many more. Now, what is this? This is your on-call IT department, whether you're based in Asia Pacific or the Americas. We have full-time business hours staff who are there ready to assist you either on live chat or via email support, via phone support. If you want to jump on a meeting, they're there too. And we can do many, many things in the Google Workspace world, as well as helping support your business growth. So if you're looking for a team who can help you build integrations into Google Workspace, maybe build dashboards for you and visualize your data using Google, formerly Google Data Studio, it's now called Looker Studio. If you want to work with a team who can clean up your Google Drive and help you set up your right folder structures, help you set up permissions, just help you make sure that your Google Workspace is running tip-top, they can do that. And for your day-to-day support, our team are on hand to help you to fix any problems that pop up. Maybe you're looking for a formula in Google Sheets and you can't get it to work. Maybe you can't find the right button in Google Forms and you want to get that set up correctly. Our team can do all those kind of IT fix-it things for you. And it's one monthly fee. You just pay one monthly fee and you get all you can eat support. So Concierge is where most customers end up working with us via, and it's a great service. We have literally thousands of companies signed up to Concierge, and they are all over the world, which is really cool. So let's jump into our next question. Okay, Anonymous says, I have a bit of a mess. Google Workspace account for one business. Through GoDaddy, I registered a domain for not-for-profit and ended up with Microsoft 365. I need another domain and email. My preference is to all be simplified and on Google. Okay, well, what this person needs to go through is a process of consolidation. And the consolidation process is pretty straightforward. You take all of your accounts and data and all of your Google Workspace accounts and all of your email accounts, and you bring them into the one place. Now, there's a bit of a method to making sure that you get that right. Typically, we're moving the data first, and then we're moving the domain name and the emails last, or we're changing the domain name settings last, because we don't have any downtime, right? If you switch the emails first and then try and move over the data later, it can make things a little bit of a mess. And if you stuff up on moving the data, you can mix up new emails with old emails, and it just makes things really messy. So moving first the data, second rerouting the emails so the domains come across, but bring it all under one account is the simplest way to handle that. Of course, we've got plenty of videos on this, but just to reiterate, if you've got multiple businesses or multiple brands, if you've got the same team managing all of those, that's when it makes sense to put them all under one Google Workspace account. You can set up multiple email mailboxes under different domain names if you want, and that all works fine and dandy. The only thing that doesn't really work ideal is if you've got different business owners or directors or shareholders who are outside some of your businesses, and you don't really want to like share everything in one brand or one domain name across to everything in a second domain name. Well, you can run into some issues there because effectively many things in the Google ecosystem are shared. And so if you have one Google Workspace account and multiple businesses running out of that, but you have different business partners or different business owners, they might accidentally be exposed to data that you would probably want to keep private from someone who's outside the actual employees of the business. So my recommendation is if you have different business partners, different equity holders, it's better to keep your accounts separate. You can always merge and unmerge. There's always options to move data if you need to, or if you've done it wrong at the start. But if you've got multiple brands and a single team running all of those brands, it's obviously more cost effective with your licenses to keep them all in one place. Okay, great question. If you're interested in getting our help in merging, unmerging, migrating data, anything like that, then just reach out to our team. There's a link down below this video. Book in a consultation, let them know exactly what's going on. If you're a small business from sole operator, one employee, right up to 30, 50, 100,000 employees, we have a team who can help sort out your issues. Anything related to Google Workspace and the ecosystem around it. Okay, let's go for another question. Is it possible to edit a shared Google Calendar from third-party applications like Outlook or room scheduling tools? I've reviewed all the settings in Workspace and found the sharing options, but I couldn't locate any setting for granting editing permissions. Could you assist me? Well, this is a great question, and I think the fundamental question here is, should I let a third-party app edit my Google Calendar? Now, if you're wondering what tools, what connections should I connect to my Google account, for the most part, most applications in the Google Workspace marketplace are going to be pretty safe for you to make use of if you want to let them access your data. Now, anytime you add a new app or connect an integration, it's going to pop up and it's going to ask you for permissions. And every time that happens, I get a little bit afraid because I see that this app has the ability to delete things in my Google Calendar. Now, these days, Google Calendar has a rubbish bin, so you can get some data back if you need to. You could also use Google Vault to get access to old data if something were to happen. But it doesn't kind of save the uneasiness that I have where 15 years of events are in my calendar and they could potentially be at risk if a third-party application stuffs up and decides to delete some of them. Now, there are many reasons you may want to connect your calendar to an external app. Maybe you want to use Calendly and schedule some meetings for you and the rest of your team members on a round robin, right? Google has a pretty decent built-in calendar scheduling link, which lets you have people book in appointments on your calendar. And that's really easy to set up and nowadays is quite powerful. But if you're looking for more advanced calendar scheduling, you might consider Calendly or one of the many other calendar tools that are available to let people make bookings. And there's options for transactions and round robins and group bookings and many other features. You may also choose to connect your calendar to a productivity app. I have my Asana tasks automatically appearing on my calendar. That's a nice little trick. Now, technically, I'm not actually sharing my Google Calendar for that. I'm subscribing to the Asana calendar, but I still count that as an integration. What else might I add to my Google Calendar? Well, there's an app that I've been testing called Motion, which actually connects to my Google Calendar and helps me to organize my meetings. Now, it's like an AI to-do list tool that automatically finds time on your calendar to get things done. I liked it. I didn't find it integrated with Asana very well, so I haven't used it all that much, but that might be something that I connect. And finally, there are legacy applications that you may choose to connect. You might want to connect your Mac calendar on your Apple device. On your Apple iPhone, you can even connect your Apple Calendar there. You might want to connect your Outlook to your Google Calendar as well. And I want to cover off my thoughts on these because it's pretty important to be careful when connecting these apps. Now, if I want to connect the Mac calendar on my desktop machine and synchronize that app to my Google Calendar, that is possible. I'm able to drag and drop events and change events, add events, delete events on my Apple Calendar, and it's going to automatically synchronize it to my Google Calendar. However, I strongly discourage you from taking this route. The reason is that from time to time, I've seen over the years synchronization issues with Mac Calendar, and I also put Google Calendar on your iPhone, or sorry, Apple Calendar on your iPhone in the same bucket. I don't like using third-party apps for managing my calendar because if something gets out of sync, calendar is such a critical resource that if a calendar was missed or lost and I had a prospect waiting for me or a investor and I just didn't show up to a meeting because of a stuff up in my calendar, I'd be pretty devastated. I need my calendar to be absolutely bulletproof. I'm an executive that's involved in a pretty successful and large-scale business. I just can't handle my calendar not being perfect. Like, it just doesn't work for me. So my preference is to always use the native Google apps. That means when I'm on my computer, I'm using the web interface in a browser. And that means when I'm on my phone, I've downloaded the Google Calendar app and I'm exclusively using the Google Calendar app. So that's my strong recommendation. Now, if you want to use something like Outlook, well, you could connect it to Outlook with some kind of backdoor solutions, but the correct way to connect your Google Calendar to Outlook is to use Google App Sync, or it's now called Google Workspace Sync for Outlook. And that's a special plugin that you download, you add it to your Outlook, and it means that you will actually connect via Outlook's correct protocols. And to be honest, it's a pretty darn good way of synchronizing your app. Let me try that again. It's a pretty darn good way of synchronizing your Outlook calendar to your Google Calendar. It's native in the Outlook side of things, and because it's built by Google for literally millions of Outlook users, it's a pretty robust synchronization tool. Outside of those, I probably wouldn't touch many third-party tools that have the ability to add to or delete my calendar. Maybe if I had some zaps that I had automated with some workflows, I might choose to use that to either read calendar events. I'd be a bit more careful about placing events onto my calendar because, with all tech automations, they can sometimes go a little bit haywire. Side note, if you want our team to build those for you, they can build them in Zapier and test them and monitor them to make sure they're working correctly. But I really try not to let any third-party tools get access to my calendar data because my preference is to just use the online interface or to use the Google Calendar app. So that's my recommendation. You can absolutely connect to Outlook and other scheduling tools. Just use their native connection is my recommendation. But a good question there. Okay, hi, hello. All right, another random question there. Okay, cool. Now, this is my friend who's asked this question, so I have to check. And I think they just text me. Okay, all right. They can't join live, but that's okay. I text them and I said, "Hey, why don't you join live and come and actually be on the fun?" All right. So Alicia asks, "How are you thinking about AI for the itGenius business, and what it will mean for customers? Will you be using more AI in your service provision? Will you be teaching customers how to better use AI tools?" Excellent question. Excellent question. I'll say fundamentally, AI is probably the most serious risk over the last couple of decades that has come to our business model. And it's not just because we're an IT services company, it's professional services delivery in general across the world. Anyone who's in the business of intellectual property, of consulting, of best practice, effectively just had all their best ideas outsourced or open sourced, sorry. And what I mean by that is if you were to go to GPT and ask it some strategic questions about Google Workspace, you're probably going to get pretty darn good answers. You're probably going to get answers on par with what I'm putting out here on the channel. And maybe there's a last mile, I'll call it, a last mile where the last 5% of best practice, intellectual property, the itGenius way of doing things is maybe like better by 5% than what you'll get from GPT. But to be honest, it's not going to be that much difference. And that gap is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until our value of our intellectual property is pretty much going to go to zero. Now, am I worried about that? Not particularly. We put all of our intellectual property out on the internet. We share it freely on YouTube, and we try as much as possible to help empower, equip, and give everyone the answers to the questions that they have. Because we know that part of the value of our business is actually being the person who presses the button. Anyone can read the instruction manual, but not everyone wants to be the person who presses the button. And that's pretty fundamental to our business. We are in the game of time arbitrage. And so we've built an amazingly talented pool of skills and resources, and business owners can effectively get access to time at a discount, which has been curated by us. That's the fundamentals of our business model. So if you want to migrate a mailbox, yeah, sure, you could spend 2 or 3 hours working out how to do that yourself. You could watch a bunch of our videos, or you could sign up to Concierge and say to our team, hey, Bob's leaving on Friday, his last day, he's clocking out at 5 p.m. Can you archive his mailbox and get it done for me? And our team will just get that done. They'll archive the mailbox, they'll change the password, they'll disable the account, they'll save the emails, and then you free up a license for your account from next week. We'll probably set up the new employee coming in to replace Bob on Monday for you. So I don't think our business is going to disappear anytime soon, because I know we're in the game of time arbitrage for business owners. And I know we're really great at delivering on that, and we're really useful. But how does large language models, how do conversational AI-based tools potentially change the game on how a service delivery business might be delivering to their customers? Well, I'd love to have AI-based chat, so you can get access to our intellectual property faster. So it's not always a human that has to be driving it. And I would always want it to be hybrid. So there's the human touch behind it, because if you just want to talk to a robot, go to GPT or go to Gemini, right? But our business is really about, the person there ready to hold your hand pressing the button. So we'd always want to do it hybrid with humans. Would we use AI in the service delivery of writing emails to our customers? We already are. We already have drafted responses via AI. We have automatic dispatch of tickets to AI. We've actually been doing that for years in the background with our service. Our customers don't necessarily know that. All they see is that we deliver really efficiently, and we've got hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews to show that. But effectively, yes, that's coming into our business, but I don't think our whole team's value would be replaced by AI very soon. Now, I want to answer the second part of Alicia's question, and that is, will we be teaching customers how to better use AI tools? Here's my philosophy on our market positioning and what we're here for. We absolutely believe in empowering small business owners to get the most out of technology and help turn technology from like a scary black box that sits in a corner into a tool that everyone can use to improve their lives, to build more productive teams, and to build a business that they love and works on their terms. So yes, we've bit by bit started adding little bits of our thoughts on Gemini, little bits of how Google's tools use AI, and how you can start to build that into your strategic thinking as a business owner. Now, is that necessarily our niche? Not really. It's adjacent to our niche. Right now, we tend to focus on Google Workspace because we're global experts in that. But there are a number of adjacent topics that sit around Google Workspace, which we delve into from time to time. It might be setting up your CRM system. It might be setting up a great help desk. It might be how do you get data and analytics and your reporting and your KPIs right. It might be how do you set up and deliver projects in something like a Asana task management tool. AI I see as one of those adjacent products, which is, large language models, chatbots, tools that can have both business owners and teams empowered to do more. Yes, that's within our scope. Is it within the scope of us delivering services? Like, would we build you a chatbot for your website? No, that's outside the scope of our business and what we do. Would we connect a Zap into your GPT account and run a query for you and then connect that into Google Chat? Hell yeah, we'll do that for you. If you've got an automation built out where you say, in this job management tool, I want it to talk to GPT and run this command, and then I want the result to come back through Zapier and go into this spreadsheet, hell yeah, we'll build that for you. So as I have limited time as a presenter, there's only so much that I can cover. So we've got to be careful about how many rabbit holes we go down with topics. But our intention is, as much as possible, to broadly support small business owners with technology to help them support their business. We do have additional presenters joining the channel. We are actively producing content from additional presenters who we'll be able to share on the channel as well soon. So I would say keep asking your questions. Give me specific questions in our Q&A, ask.itgenius.com, and let me know what your questions are about AI tools. I can cover pretty much anything in the small business tech world, and I'd love to help you with those. So go ahead right now, drop them in, drop in your specifics, and I will cover them for you. Okay, so someone has asked, where is it? Okay, let's go back to our next question. And we don't have anyone in the room yet. If you'd like to ask me a question live, please come and join. Even if you're not on camera, that's totally fine. But if you want to ask a live question, I thought we'd have more uptakers on this. I think we need to do a bit more promo. On these. Okay, but yeah, come and join the live if you would like to join the live. We would love to have you. We would love to have you with us. Okay, next question. I currently have 2 separate Google Workspace accounts. How do I set it up and merge so I'm only paying for one? I covered that earlier in the stream, so I'm going to mark that one done. Is there any way through which one can restrict downloading of the data from My Drive or Shared Drive? This is potentially to restrict data leakage. Yes. If you're worried about data going missing inside your Google Drive, there is a simple solution to lock it down so no one can download, make a copy, or even print files that are sitting in your drive. Let's have a look at how to get that done. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. If I hit the right button. So I'm going to open my Google Drive. And there's 2 main important areas of Google Drive that you should know about. You have your My Drive, and then we have shared drives. Now, My Drive, think about that like your My Documents, where all your stuff goes, where you want to save documents as you're working on them that pretty much only you have access to. Sometimes people will set up a shared folder inside their My Drive, but that's not a good way of sharing things because there may be files in a shared folder that somebody else owns, and that means you can't control them. Google saw this was an issue, and they created this feature called shared drives. And shared drives are like a company drive. If you've ever worked in corporate, you would have had a server and you would have had an S drive or an I drive or a G drive. Well, that's what shared drives are. And so we can designate different shared drives, and those shared drives are where you have corporate control over the files that go into those shared drives. So if, for example, I say I want someone to be able to place files inside a drive, but not delete or remove anything from a drive, well, I could give them the contributor access level, and that will let them add and edit files, place them into the drive, but not delete them. And what that looks like when you add a file into your shared drive is you'll choose the shared drive you want to share it to, you drag and drop a file in, and it's going to pop up and it's going to say, do you want to make somebody else the owner of this file? They are going to gain access. Effectively, you are no longer the owner. So if you say yes, that's going to put it in there. Okay, so when you set up your shared drives, our recommendation is that you use group-based permissions. We have a number of videos on our channel which teach you how to set up group-based permissions and apply them to shared drives. I won't cover that in this one. But once you've got that set up, let me show you an example here of my team training drive. You can set different levels of access to the different groups of people inside your business. So you'll see the IT admins team is the manager of the drive. They've got full permission. We then have a number of groups who are able to contribute. And then content managers are people who can not only add and edit files, but they can also delete files as well. So that's how you set up the different tiers of permissions for different groups of people within your business. But there is actually a hidden settings menu that not many people know about. If you right-click on a shared drive, you can go to Shared Drive Settings. And inside Shared Drive Settings, there's a couple of advanced features that you can use to change these. To change access to each of the files inside the shared drive. Now, you'll see here, the first tick box is to allow people outside itGenius to access files. If I untick that, it's going to stop anyone who doesn't have an itgenius.com domain name to access any of the files within this account. I really love that. Number 2, allow people who aren't shared drive members to access files. Now, this is a little bit different. This allows you to add some people who are outside your company to the shared drive, but maybe you say anyone who is not explicitly shared at the top level of the shared drive via that sharing menu I just showed you. is not able to access individual files. See, how this works is at the top level, we have our members defined on who can access the drive. But by default, I can open up the drive and I can find an individual file. And with that individual file, I can still use the share menu to share access to that file to people on an individual basis. Now, what that setting is that I showed you, let me find it again. What the setting is here to allow people who aren't shared drive members is to effectively restrict the manual and individual sharing of files outside of whoever has access to the top level of the shared drive. That's really useful for your accounting folder where all your financials are kept. It's really useful if you want to lock things down and make sure that no one accidentally shares files outside of the business or accidentally on purpose, right? Now, individual permissions, these are pretty cool as well. Allow content managers to share folders. This is an individual permission, and it basically says if you've given someone the content management permission, do you want to let them share a whole folder at a time? Maybe you want to share a collection of documents in one folder. This is pretty self-explanatory there. But here you have the final setting, which is appropriate to this person's question. Should I allow viewers and commenters to download, print, and copy files? And if you untick this, it restricts someone's ability to download, print, and copy files. Now, if someone is an editor or they have a higher level permission, they can do those things. But this is, for example, if you have a training folder and you want to share access to a bunch of contractors who are outside your business. Well, you could add a group called contractors, or you can add people individually. And with that group, you may choose that you only want those people to be viewers. Now, if I was to share this with those people as viewers, as they logged in and they actually checked access to their files, they don't have the option to print, download, or make a copy. Now, is that foolproof? Well, not necessarily. It doesn't stop someone from recording their screen, taking a screenshot, or finding some other means of copying that file, but it does at least slow them down. If someone's going to try and rip off your business and steal every single bit of your IP, if they really, really want to, they're probably going to find a way, right? Someone can always just hold their phone up to their computer screen and take a photo of something. But this slows down the mass exodus of data in your business if you think someone might, be using automated tools or trying to, take things the easy way. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. That's how you lock down Google Shared Drives, and that's how you restrict people from getting access to your data. Love that feature. Okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to need a little quick sip of water. I'll be back in just one moment. All right, time for our next question. Anonymous asks, I'm planning to use email for outreaching potential leads. However, I want my VA also to have an access, and will I use this for sending messages through leads email? Would it be possible that both of us have the access on one Gmail account to answer emails using my email too? Yes. And I've covered this many times on the channel, so I'm not going to cover it in full now. But if you go to the channel and you search for delegated mailbox, you're going to find it here. There's lots of guides on how to set it up, how to confirm it, many videos over. Go and check that out on the channel. That will help you set it up. And for anyone who's curious about sharing their email, giving someone else access to respond to emails on your behalf, go check out those videos on the channel. They all cover that well. Okay, next question. How to set permissions on Google Workspace for clients? Can you hide group members' emails for privacy between customers? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's find out. I don't think so. I think group members can see each other, but let's check if a group member can see another group member. Now, groups as a service has gone through so many iterations over the years. it's a little bit hard to know where all the features of groups are, because some of them are kind of been merged with organizational units. Some of them exist outside in a dedicated group service, groups.google.com, because some of them are kind of like a public newsletter service, but that architecture has been kind of brought into Google Workspace. So you can use groups for so many things. You can use them for security and deploying apps as an organizational unit. You can use groups for a distribution email list if you just want an email list. You can use groups for locking down permissions in Google Drive. And you can use groups for a full-blown forum if you want, which can also almost act like a shared mailbox. So that's 5 things that you can use groups for. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So test members. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to set up my group here. May as well choose an owner and add myself in there. Okay, I'm going to add security tag. I don't know really what that one does, but anyway. So when we configure a group, we've got lots of different options here, right? So you've got the ability to set different levels of access based on different permissions and different categories here. Now, considering the question, it appears that we can lock down who can view members to only group owners, which is pretty interesting. So changing that permission might be all that we need. And let's say only invited users, and let's add people outside my organization. So I'm going to use a third-party email address to simulate this effect. So I'm going to add an email address which is out of my organization. If it lets me, there we go. Great. Okay. So we should have 2 group members here. And remember, when you're working with groups, they take a while to update. So sometimes it takes a second for people to appear in the list, which is taking a long time. There we go. Okay, so I appeared, my owner account. Let's wait for my secondary account to join. Patience, patience, patience. All right, I'm going to add one more just for the fun of it. Oh, there we go. Okay, wonderful, cool. So I've got my secondary account. It's on a different domain. So effectively, we're simulating what a customer would see. So first, let's open up the group as a group owner. So I'd go to groups.google.com. And you can see there's lots of different groups that I am a part of here. And it was called Test Group Members. So I'm going to go ahead and open the group. Now, this group's service is where you can see a log of all of the emails, or groups calls them conversations, that are here. You can see members in the group, so I can see the different members that have been added here. There's pending members and banned users. They're more of the like forum-y type features that exist in the Google Groups service. But as an owner, I'm obviously going to be able to see everything. Let's see what it looks like when I switch to my alternative account. Okay, so I can't see those, but let's go to all groups. I guess it's probably not my group. Okay, so I can't see the group, which is odd. Let's see if I can search for test. Maybe I need to go and find that group. I'm just going to hide my screen while I open my email. Maybe I need to. I know for security purposes, I don't have to accept an invitation or anything. But interesting. It's not yet appeared. Okay, I'm going to try and modify the URL. See if I can get that to work. And go to the actual group. Content unavailable. Okay, so it's not showing me. It's not showing me that group. Now, I wonder if that's because I made it. I wonder if that's because I made it a security group here. Let's try one more option. I've got a feeling it might be stuck, but that's okay. Let's do a fresh. Let's do a fresh one. Okay, cool. All right, we've got some more questions coming in, which is wonderful. Okay, test-members 2. Doesn't matter if I misspelled it. All right, so I'm not going to switch the security group setting on. We're going to say group members cannot view groups, other group members, right? Oops, there we go. And I'm going to say only invited users and allow external users. And let's try adding my external user again. I feel so sorry for my edit team. They have to make coherent videos out of these sloppy live streams sometimes. Okay, cool. So this is again going to take another minute. It's going to take another minute to work. But let's see how quickly this shows up. If I go to my groups. Yeah, not yet. Not yet here. So this is in my primary account. Well, kids, just play amongst yourselves while we're waiting. This is where, here we go. Okay, cool. So test members 2. Interestingly, it only says 1 member. That should have multiple members in there. Oh, just peter@moriarty.co. Okay, cool. Maybe I need to also add myself in there too. Great. Okay, cool. So we've got the external third-party member in there. This is simulating the client. Let's search in that user's account. Interesting. Well, it's not showing up. I don't know if they need to do something special to join the group. But it's not really working at the moment. You know what I am curious about, though, is can that person send an email to the group? Bit of a weird email address. Let me just close that. There we go. That's a bit better. Test message. So remember I said these act a little bit like a forum? I'm going to send this email here. And when I send that email, it's going to appear in the group as a message. So if I go to all groups, I go to test 2. We should get a conversation starting here. Hopefully. It may take a minute. There we go. Conversations. One conversation. Oh, why can't I see it yet? Try. There we go. Cool. Okay. So this is the external customer. They're able to interact with the group here. The only issue we have is this group is not showing up for that person. So I suspect that the question this person has asked, can you hide group members' emails for privacy between customers? In this instance, it doesn't appear to be exposing their group membership, at least in the group's service. Where else might it show up? Well, it might show up on a calendar event, but I'm pretty certain this feature works as described and won't expose a calendar event to other people. So let's jump on my calendar, and I'm going to put in a test event here. And in my test events, I can start to add groups. And if I add a group into a test event, I'm going to grab the group email address and pop it in there. Yep, that's the one. Cool. Here we go. You don't have permission to view the members list. Group members will receive an email but must add the event to their calendars manually. Okay, well, that's cool. I can't see it because this one was actually set as a member of the group. Now, normally you would actually be an owner. If you're the person who set up the group, normally you'd be an owner, and so you have the ability to see the group. Just save that setting there. But when I create the event, let's go and send my invitations, and I choose to, let's go ahead and open up my other calendar. I've received an invitation here. This is on the receiving side. You'll see I've got my alternative calendar here. I can see that there's a group that's been invited, but I can't see the members of that group. I suspect it will be the same in Google Drive if something's shared. So if I set up a test Google Drive, in that Google Drive, if I go to members, I paste the group name. Yeah, that'll do for now. Maybe even give them a notification. How about that? Cool. So they've now been added to the group. Sorry, the group has now been added to the shared drive. I can access it with my primary account. Let's go to the simulated secondary account. I'm going to go to my shared drives. So I've got, let's show it. Test group members, shared drive. I'll go ahead and open this. View members. It's going to show me the group. If I hover over that group, I'm going to try and open as much as I can. I just can't see anything to do with this group. So your results may vary. Your results may vary, but on this basis, it looks pretty clean if you want to add multiple clients into one Google group. As long as you set your settings so that group members can't see other group members, it appears you're pretty safe from them seeing each other. Hashtag I'm not a lawyer, and hashtag your results may vary, but it looks pretty good. Test it out. Let me know in the comments if you think this has worked for you or if you've got a better idea. Okay, great question. I like that one. That's a nice curly one because I got to learn in that one as well. Now, forgive me one moment while I delete all the junk that I just created because otherwise my team go into our Workspace account. What have you done? Okay, let me delete these two groups. Wunderbar. Done. Okay. Great question. All right, so we've got a live question on YouTube. My team have just sent over to me. Abram has asked, Google Classroom announcements are getting quarantined. How to allow? That's interesting. Well, if any emails are being stopped right now, if you have any emails that are not being delivered correctly right now, my first initial reaction is to always go and look at your DNS. DKIM, DMARC, SPF, and just triple check that that is tip top. Now, my team will even do a free DNS check for you. If you go to our live chat on our website, all you need to do is head along to itgenius.com. Now, it says bot, but it's not actually a bot. It's actually live chat down the bottom. So you chat to itGenius, start a conversation. There you go. From there, you can say to them, hey, I think my DNS might not be right. Can you guys have a look? They'll get a tech to have a look at that for you immediately. If there's something broken and we can fix it, we'll give you an offer to fix it. Sometimes we can fix it instantly. Otherwise, if you want to fix it yourself, go ahead. Now, here's some resources to go ahead and fix it yourself. So if I open up and I say, let me search for, maybe just DNS is the best search. There are so many videos on DNS on our channel on getting it set up. Go and watch some of those. There's even a guide, I think it's about 30 minutes long, there we go, that takes you right from the start to the finish of getting all of your emails flowing correctly. So that'd be the first place that I would look. Secondly, I'd potentially have our support team have a look at it, or have the Google support team have a look at it, because it may be some kind of internal bug. I don't see a way where Google Classroom would be in violation of any of Google's spam protocols that I know of, because Google Classroom is effectively within your domain. It's within your Workspace account. So yeah, not sure with that one, but good luck with that one. If we can help, just have a chat to our team. They'll be happy to have a look at your DNS and rule that out at least by double checking that up front. Okay. Okay, can you explain how the subscription works with a partner if we move directly to Google or to another partner? Is there a new subscription, or do you continue with the same billing with the first partner? Thanks. Okay, so I assume this person's talking about working with a partner. So we're obviously a Google Workspace partner. It's our primary business. Most of our business is made on selling consulting rather than selling licenses for Google Workspace. We make very, very, very little on Google Workspace. And so if you're a business owner and you're curious about building a relationship with a partner like us, we don't really care how many licenses you have. We're really about providing value around the Google ecosystem. But every little bit helps. And if you bill through us, you pay the same street price that you would pay to Google directly, but we buy it at wholesale. So we make a small margin on that. So it helps us, and in turn, we help you as well. So if you transfer your licenses into us, we can give you access to a free basic audit of your Google Workspace account. We'll check the settings, we'll check your DNS, and we'll give you a bit of a report and say, hey, here's some things that you can improve or do better, or some settings that you missed, or some security settings that you haven't switched on. And then you can implement them yourself, or you can engage our team to do that for you. Now, with the billing and the subscription, if you transfer your account in to itGenius, and let's say you've still got a few months left on an annual commitment for your plan, our team have a method of transferring that in so you don't lose any money. The only difference with your billing is, instead of just going to the admin panel and clicking one button and getting a new license when you're billing through us, you've got to first go to one more login. You go to our accounts portal, you click a button, you get a new license, and then you go and set up the user in your Workspace account. Very simple process, happens immediately, and it's all automated. So you can do that 24/7. But the licensing, if you decide you want to move back to Google from a partner, well, that's a little bit different. If you've committed to a year of your licensing, you may forfeit some of that contract. So if you've paid for a year, basically you just got to finish out the year with your partner before you move that contract back out. If you're on month to month, otherwise called flexible, you can move out anytime. And it's really easy as well. We just do a couple of things on our end. We make sure your bills are all paid up to date, and then we release your account, and Google gives you 30 days to put in a credit card and then start paying Google directly again. It doesn't really make much of a difference in terms of what you get from Google, whether you bill through us or you bill through Google. But if you bill through us, you get access to all of the other services that we provide. You can sign up for concierge if you want and get instant support. We can get into the back end of your Google Workspace account if you're ever locked out or you ever have an emergency. You're overseas, you've lost your phone, your two-factor isn't working. You can call us and verify. I mean, without a text message, that would be hard. But we would find a way to verify you, and we can help you get back into your account. Whereas Google just will not help you. If you don't have access to log into your account, sometimes if you can't generate a support PIN, they're not going to be willing to help you. So it's a really good idea to choose to work with a partner, work with us, work with another partner. Our service is designed to be very, very available and affordable and great value for small to medium-sized business owners. If you haven't already, consider checking out our team. And we even have an offer here on our site. We are changing this offer. But it's called Transfer In. And if you go here and you fill out a form, just going to wait for that guy to load. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you fill out that form, our team will do a basic account check for you for free. So no reason not to do that. And of course, we're very happy to take your business as well. All right, let me just check how I'm doing for time. Make sure I'm not bleeding into my other meetings. No, I'm not. Okay, cool. If you're listening to the live and you would like to join me live, you can join me by clicking on the Google Workspace Meet link. So I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat again. If you want to come and join us on stream, you can join the stream, share your business. There's 45,000 people on this channel. So if you want to promote your business, that would be a great way of doing that. You just go ahead and jump onto that meeting link, and our team will bring you into the meet. Okay, cool. And let me know from where you're watching from too. If you're watching, I'd love to know what part of the world you're in. Mahendra said they're watching from Nepal in Kathmandu. Hey, welcome. Great to have you here. We usually have people all over the world. Cool. And we don't have anyone else checked in yet. But say hello, please. Please jump on and say hello, no matter where you are right now. Always love to hang out with customers and our community. We've got customers in 30 countries now, which is pretty crazy. Okay, is there a Google Workspace certificate? I found some certificates provided by Google, but those aren't related to the apps specifically. I find classes here and there for each individual app, but haven't found one that covers all the Google apps with a certificate at the end. Shit, they used to be. I don't know where they are these days. You might need to go through like a partner certification certificate, but they're really more focused on administering Google Workspace rather than actually operating Google Workspace. There are many training companies, and we provide trainings. We have a boot camp that we run a couple of times a year, which is the Google Workspace Basics Boot Camp. Again, that's more focused on administrators and business owners operating Google. We do have Genius Academy. Some of those videos are a little outdated because a few things have changed over the years. I don't have much more help than that, sorry. But we are, as much as possible, trying to provide really great quality training on our channel. So I don't know, maybe that's something we do. Maybe we'll create a course and then a certificate on the basics of Google Workspace. Reach out to us and let us know what would you want to see in that course. Maybe you can drop a comment down below this video or connect with me on social and let me know. Let me know. If you want to connect with me directly, you can go to peter.tv. Very easy to remember. Peter.tv, and that'll redirect you to my site. I've got all my socials there, and you can connect with me and drop me a message if you like. Daniel, one of our long-time watchers from Sweden. Welcome, Daniel. Good to see you. And Luigi from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome. I'm going to be not in Arizona, but I'm going to be in New York. I'm going to be over the pond, as they say, in December, which will be nice, but I think it'll be pretty cold. It'll be pretty cold. I wonder if Arizona gets cold. How cold does Arizona get? I'm curious, actually, because I think it's pretty hot when it's sunny there, but I'm curious if it gets cold. I think it's kind of in the middle, but I don't know for sure. I don't know my US very well. I've only ever spent time in California because of our partnership with Google. Okay, here's another question. After placing sharing restrictions on my documents, I noticed that iPhone users can still take screenshots. Android users cannot. Please, I need to prevent iPhone users from taking screenshots. As we say in Australia, unfortunately, I think you are up shit creek. I don't think that's an option, except maybe we could do it with MDM. All right, let's have a look. So if you are concerned about locking down access to take screenshots from phones connected to your Google Workspace account, accessing your Google Drive, maybe, just maybe, should I say maybe? This is not going to help the recording. You can set up some restrictions in your Google Workspace account via policy, and I want to walk you through what options we have available. So let's go into our devices menu in our admin panel. We're going to open up mobile, and we're going to go to settings, and we'll first do Android. Now, Android has an application previously called Android for Work. I don't know if it's still called that, but effectively built into Google Workspace is the ability to not only control some of the Android settings on your devices, but it also lets you do the very cool thing where your team will have a separate, where your team will have a separate bucket of applications completely separate to their personal apps. So they'll have a work version of their apps and a personal version of their apps, kept nice and clean and separate, which makes things much tidier on their phone. And it also means that if they're trying to snap a photo for work, they're not going to accidentally snap and upload a personal photo into a business Google Drive. We don't want that. So in our app setting, in our mobile device settings in the admin panel is where we configure certain policies that we can apply to those. Now, you'll see that a number of these have a little purple flag, and that means that you must be on Google Workspace Business Premium. Is that what it's called? God, I forget the name. I think it's Premium, but it's you need to be on the top tier plan. God, I should know this. Hold on. What's it called? Pricing plans. I think it's Premium. Or is it Plus? Plus. Okay. You need to be on Plus. Okay, so you need to be on Business Plus for this to work if you've got those little flags there. But you can still set some basic settings that will work even if you're on a business standard plan. Okay, so you do have the ability to set screenshots on or off. And you can see here with this setting, I can choose to disable and disallow screen capture. And that means that anyone who is on a device within the associated organizational unit, they will be locked down and unable to take screenshots on their phone. Now, if you want to apply this only to a certain set of staff, you create a new organizational unit. You put those staff in that organizational unit using the user menu, and then you can apply policies to certain groups of staff by first clicking the organizational unit, and then setting a policy which will apply just to that organizational unit. Now, it says the word override here, which means I'm overriding the default policy for the parent organizational unit, and I'm applying this policy just to that child organizational unit. That's what the word override means. We're overriding the company-wide policy that sits at the top with a organizational unit level policy. And you can have multiple levels deep if you want to get really complicated with it. My advice is always to keep it simple. Now, that covers Android. What about iOS? Let's go along to our iOS and see what options we have. Now, iOS has multiple options for managing phones. If you want to manage Android phones, Android for Work is the best way to do that, right here inside your Google Workspace account. Even if you didn't have Google Workspace for your mailboxes and your Google Drive and everything else, if you want to manage Android phones, you would still use an identity account to set up a Google Workspace shell. You would verify your domain that you own it, and then you would onboard your Android devices to excuse me, to effectively a Google Workspace account without the Workspace bits. So you wouldn't have Drive, you wouldn't have Gmail, you wouldn't have Calendar, you would just have the Android devices, and then you would have the policies applied to those devices. Now, iOS is a little bit different because iOS has some basic functionality for mobile device management built into Google Workspace, but there's actually a broad range of APIs for iOS, which are not included in Google Workspace by default. So there are third-party applications which will allow you to add additional policies to iOS devices and manage all of the APIs that Apple has provided for device managers. Now, they are called MDM applications or mobile device management. That's the category if you want to Google it and find some options. I haven't used them in about a decade, to be honest, so I don't have any personal recommendations right now, but I'll let you go and find some. And if you've got a recommendation, drop it down in the comments. But I typically just use the basic policies available within Google Workspace because it can do the basics that I want, which are things like enforcing a passcode and enforcing encryption on backups for any of the devices under your account. Now, if we want to disable screenshots, let's see if we can do it. Aha! It's available. You can allow screenshots and screen recording, or, if you wish, disallow screenshots and screen recording to a certain number of people. Now, it says here, this option is only available when your mobile management is set to advanced. Now, what does that mean for your mobile management to be set to advanced? Well, remember I said that Apple uses advanced APIs to actually grant third-party tools access to those APIs and access to those policies. Well, there's something little extra that you need to set up for this to work out of the box because, well, it doesn't work out of the box. We need to set something up. Now, we need to register with Apple and actually get access to a mobile device management code, which will be added to our Google Workspace account. And then that authorizes us to use advanced features of mobile device management. Now, this is free and it's included in your plan. You just need to first go to this setting inside your devices, mobile and endpoints, universal settings, and then general settings, and switch mobile management to advanced. Now, you'll see here it requires a device policy app. You will need to deploy an additional app to your devices, which in this case will be a Google policy app. And Google's going to automatically prompt for that when users attempt to access the mobile phone and your policy has been enforced. Now, it's a couple of extra steps for anyone to access their Google account via your Google Workspace account. Let me try that again. It's a couple of extra steps for anyone to access the Google Workspace account when you turn this setting on. You do need to set up some connections to Apple. You need to then actually authorize devices to access things by installing a API. Every time you go to access that device and you want to log into the Google account, Google's going to say, well, you can't access the account unless you've got the API restrictions enabled. So here's a policy app. Please download the policy app before we give you access to your emails. Now, that's wonderful from a security standpoint, but your team are going to have to go through a couple of extra steps to actually get things set up before they can access their Gmail or their Google Drive. Now, do I recommend you do this? If you're a medium-sized business, absolutely yes. If you've got 20 or 30 staff or above, and you're really starting to get a bit more serious about the security and making sure that your company data is well protected, I think this is an excellent choice to go ahead with, and it unlocks your ability to restrict screenshots and screen recording on devices so that someone is not able to take screenshots of company data if it's stored there inside the phone. Now, keep in mind, if these are BYOD or bring your own devices that your employees have brought themselves, well, they may be less happy with you putting these kind of restrictions on their personal device if you're going to be, asking them to work from home or work on the go and install work apps on that phone. So if it's not a company-issued device, this may need to be a negotiation process that you have with your team before you roll out this particular feature. Cool. I'm glad someone asked that. I haven't had a really interesting question like that for a long time. So that is a good one. Haven't touched MDM in a while. Okay. Next question is, does Hiver only offer a free plan? Do we need to subscribe? You need to subscribe. I don't think there's a free plan for Hiver. Let's cover this one. I have 7 domains in Google Workspace, and I want to set up 3 mailboxes for each domain. Can you help? Yes, we can. Click on the button down below and get in touch with our team. They'll be very happy to help you do a quote on helping out with your services. Or you can just buy Concierge. It's very simple. Concierge is the best subscription for small businesses using Google Workspace. Or you can eat IT support, or you can eat virtual assistants for Google Workspace. You can see here nearly 500 5-star reviews. Our reviews are going absolutely crazy at the moment. We have an amazing team who do an amazing job. Please consider Concierge if you're working with Google Workspace. We've basically built that to be the ultimate IT service subscription for Google Workspace. And if you would like managed service included in that, if you're in Asia Pacific, sorry for the US, we don't have that time zone spun up yet. But if you want us to manage printers, networks, computers, anything else you got going, if you're in Australian time zone, or you don't mind, waiting for the sun to roll around for Australian time zone, then we can do that for you. Cool. Okay, so I've got another question on the live. I'm gonna cover that one first, actually. Gagandeep from Melbourne. Welcome. In Arizona, 30 Fahrenheit at night. Hold on, I'm going to have to check what that is in Celsius. Oh, geez, that's cold. That's cold. Okay, nice. Sometimes colder in December and January. Okay, well, I am not a I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I like the warm. I don't like the cold. Although I'm going to New York. I'm going to an event in New York in December, which is probably not good for someone who prefers the warm. All right. Cool. 2 questions left. I saw my Google domain, and when I went to the DNS checking, it was showing a timeout error, not showing any stats on my DNS. I assume this is someone who previously was using Google domains. Google domains have now been switched over to Squarespace, so all of your domain registrations will have been moved and migrated over to Squarespace. So if you were a previous customer of Google Domains, head over to Squarespace. We'll check your email. You will have had a Squarespace account created. I'm not a fan of the Squarespace. I'm not a fan of the Squarespace interface. I thought it was really crappy, and I couldn't renew my domains by clicking a button whenever I wanted to. So I binned that. I got rid of that pretty quickly, and I moved as many as possible of my domains over to Cloudflare, which does cost price registrations. And of course, they do DNS and web security and everything else. And they're just a general recommendation of a great place to put your domains. But we can also register your domain name for free. If you're a concierge member, we'll register your domain name for free, and we'll manage the DNS for you on Cloudflare. So it means that it's just one less thing for you to worry about. We'll, make sure the recurring, payments go through. Sometimes people forget that their credit card expires and their domain name expires, and then their emails are down, and they call us trying to fix it, and then they can't access things. It turns into a pain. So yeah, we just do that for you if you want. That's a nice little perk for our concierge members. Okay, last questions, guys. I'm on my last question here. So I'll say, if you're on the chat, if you're on the live, pop in your last final questions. If you're joining the repeat, let us know in a comment what you thought. If you want to join the next one, look out for it. I think it's going to be next week. Yes, it is. It's going to be next Thursday, midday Sydney time, or it may be 2 p.m. actually. I think it's going to be 2 p.m. Sydney time next week. If you want to join the next live, and we're going to be doing more live as well. So put your makeup on, get dressed, and join me on the actual meeting. If you're on the live stream right now and you'd like to jump in and have a little chit chat, I've got time for extra questions. Just another kind of 15 minutes. So you can join. There is a Google Meet link in the stream. I'm going to paste that again. If you want to jump on and say hello live and ask a question live, I would love that. We're trying to do more and more of these and make them accessible to everyone. I can no longer consult to our customers because we have 25,000 users that we manage and 3,000 businesses. So I don't sell my time. It would be impossible. And, we've got 60 staff, and, we're a pretty big business. So I can't help people, but I can help you if it helps our community, right? Because I consult to you, and everyone in the community gets to hear the answer. So that works for us. That's a good value exchange. So if you want some help, or you want to ask me something personally, jump on that Meet right now, because I'm going to wrap up this stream in a second. But if you do want to jump on live, we can jump on live and have a little chit chat. We can cover anything you want. You can screen share. We can troubleshoot. We'll do our best to solve whatever you got going on. Okay, cool. Final question, and then I'm going to wrap it unless I get any more. Patrick asks, I keep a lot of information in my Google Contacts records. Is there a way to get a text message history to also get stored there? Interesting. Not that I can think of. I mean, geez, maybe there's an app that would back up your text messages, and we could get it into structured data somehow and try and get it into Zapier, but then trying to put it against contact records in a CRM. Nah, I don't think there's really a way. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there's an Android app that's a CRM that reads all your messages. I mean, that's a good business idea, right? Read text messages, use AI to attach that to a CRM under that contacts record. With a little bit of logic there, that could be done reasonably easy. I know nothing of the sort that works like that right now. But if someone does, let me know. That would be very difficult to find if possible. Okay, cool. That's it. I'm going to wrap it. I haven't got any questions. No one's jumped into live. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined live. If you want to join, you can go to this Slido or just ask.itgenius.com, and that will get you there. We do these typically once a fortnight, so make sure you watch the channel. Make sure you've got your notifications switched on, and you will, you'll get notified for the next one. But I want to say thank you so much for joining, everyone. Oh, we have one more question on YouTube. All right, Luigi's just jumped in. Cool. Issue I have is migrating a DNS from Wix to Google. Okay. If that's an issue, honestly, I would just have our team do it. If you want to get something small and simple done, go to our website and grab a quick fix. So quick fix here, it's about $200 and it's very, very simple for small tasks, and you can get instant support. The team is still online right now. They'll be online for a few more hours. Start chatting to them, start a conversation, let them know what your challenge is, and they will help you to identify the issue. And if they say, yep, we can fix that, then they'll send you to the booking link and you go and purchase that. It's 300 Aussie dollary dues, which is about 200 USD. And it is very affordable, very accessible. Honestly, rather than dicking around with DNS yourself, you're best to get our team to do it if you're a business owner and you value your time. If you really want to do it yourself, if you like pain, go to our channel, search DNS, watch some of the DNS guides. You'll get a bit of a feel for it. At a minimum, probably watch this video here. How does DNS work? We've got some good explanations of DNS there. That's probably the first one, just so you can understand like what you're dealing with. But yeah, the actual method of moving things over gets a little bit painful. But hey, if you want to join maybe another time, join me on a live next Thursday and workshop it together. I'd be happy to help you with that. That will get very technical, but there we go. We can do it for free if we do it on the live. Okay, I'm going to wrap it there. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for saying hi, and we will see you in the next one. Peace. Cheers.